Welcome to the show. Time now is 9:01. You're listening to the Chelladurai Inc. show. I'm your host, Aaron Trilling. Alongside me, co-host Jon Philip. Today's date, August 18th. August 18th, folks. The time is just coming to a close, really. Well, not so much a close, but we're winding down the second third of this lovely 2016 year. Of course, again, I'm your host, Aaron Trilling. Got a good show lineup. Episode 47, I believe. Jordan, is that right? 47. Gee whiz, man. Look at the time go. I just want to do what we always do the first couple minutes of our show and talk a little sports update. I'm just going to go around the league as far as baseball is concerned. 8-2 Washington over the Atlanta Braves. Boy, Atlanta having a real tough season. Dodgers visit the Philadelphia Phillies, and they're going to come up short as the Phillies are going to get a home win at a score of 5-4. Cleveland beat the Chicago White Sox also at 5-4. And Kansas City is at home playing the Minnesota Twins, and they're going to win in Kansas City 8-1. Football is on its way. Preseason games have already started. Minnesota Vikings are up on the Seattle Seahawks 11-0 in the third quarter as the third quarter is winding down. Philadelphia Eagles also have played today, and they shut Pittsburgh out in Pittsburgh 17-0. Yeah, I want to see that when it's a real game. No way that Pittsburgh's going to get shut out. Cincinnati plays Detroit in Detroit, and Cincinnati comes off with a nice preseason away win at a score of 30-14. Atlanta Falcons 24-13 over the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. Chicago, I cannot see, therefore I can't move it over. But New England won, but I can't pull up the score. Sorry about that. But yeah, football's getting real exciting. Out here locally, of course, we're out here in America's finest city, San Diego, California, and we do have a preseason game tomorrow with the Cardinals. I was fortunate enough to go to the preseason practice game with the Cardinals and the Chargers that actually took place at Qualcomm Stadium. Very fun, friends and family. All were welcome, free admission, and free parking. And at Qualcomm, that's you take that, because when the season starts, it's going to be $25 to park and about $100 for a ticket. So that was really cool. Olympics are going on. We're going to finish up the Olympics in Rio, of course. Olympic medal count, man, the United States just running away with it as they have their 100th medal. Of those 100 medals, 35 gold, 33 silver, and 32 bronze. So we're pretty much split across the board. Again, 35 gold is leading the gold medals. Next closest is Great Britain, which is they're at 22, 21, and 13 across, respectively, bronze, gold, silver, and bronze, and they have a total of 56. So just talking about total medals here, folks, I'm going to just rattle off the top five nations. The United States with 100 exactly, Great Britain with 56, China with 58. They are labeled third. They do have two more than Great Britain, but they actually have less gold. So China has 20 golds to Great Britain's 22. Germany comes in fourth place with 32 total medals, 13 of them gold. And Russia with 44 medals altogether, 12 of them being gold. So it's hard to say that the Americans do not, they don't run, jump, or swim better than the rest of the world, because they clearly do. And I'm not sure, actually, up to date. I got to check my Twitter account. I got to see if Usain Bolt won the 200-meter men's, if that's going on. I think that's already over, but I don't have results there quite yet. Do have the mixed martial arts, the UFC, MMA, big UFC 202. Good buddy of mine's going to that in Vegas. I think that's at the MGM Grand, if I'm not mistaken, and it will be a rematch of Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. As we all know, a few months back, Nate Diaz took it in the second round as Colin was a little bit under the weather. He said, it was a lot of trash talking in the beginning. I know Dana White, president of UFC, of course, really likes that. Brings more sales, brings more volume, brings more ratings to his show. And after the first fight, he was he lost. He was very humble, humble in victory, humble in defeat, he says. And I got to say, he really was. But, the second fight now, rematch, he is just trash-talking Nate Diaz and his brother Nick Diaz. We'll see what happens. Kind of going for Nate again. Conor McGregor, I want to call him Colin, because it's also an Irish name, but his name is Conor. Conor McGregor, we'll see with this one, folks. We don't know. Jordan, who you got? Who you got coming up on this next fight?
With Nate.
With Nate. Yeah. Jordan likes Nate too. Nate, he's a good old boy, just a hood white guy out of Stockton. He comes to fight. If he wants, he'll put his name out there. He'll fight anybody. He's just a dude that just wants to fight. Doesn't want to trash talk. He's not into the politics of the sport. He just wants to be in the octagon, and he wants to be the one with his arm raised at the end. I hope Herb Dean's going to be calling that fight, because I love Herb. No pun intended. But, that's pretty much all we got for the little sports wrap-up right now. Again, it is August 18th. Jordan and I were just talking before the show. We just can't believe it. Just can't believe how fast time's flying by. And we all do hope you guys are doing well out there financially. Hope you guys are bringing great, prosperous wealth to you and your loved ones, friends, and family. We also hope everybody's in good health. If you're not in good health, say a prayer for them. And if you guys aren't in good health, we're saying a prayer for you. But I'm going to pass this just right over to Jordan right now. He has a little few words for us as we start off our show. So without further ado, of course, my co-host Jordan Pravin Philip is right here. Time now is 9:08. You're listening to the Chelladurai Inc. show.
All right. Thank you for that, Aaron. Definitely. So, it's just crazy how time is flying by at such a rapid pace. And, I know we say that kind of every week, and the reality is that's because that's really what's happening. And, as we progress on through 2016, now we hit the final quarter of 2016. We're approaching the months of September, October, November, and December. So we have about 4 months, less than 4.5 months at this point. So, kind of what we wanted to do tonight was just vibe and just kind of talk about what we have on our minds, where usually, we do bring on an exclusive guest. And last week, everyone saw a awesome guest. Rather, should I say everyone heard an awesome guest from Lisa Song Sutton. So shout out to Lisa out in Vegas. Hopefully you are continuing to just, go for it, really. And what I wanted to touch on this week, with everybody on the air, that we have everyone's undivided attention, was really living more of a conscious life. It's so easy in today's world to fall into an autopilot type of mentality where you wake up and you just go through the motions without really paying attention to why you're doing what you do, and living in more of a reactionary type of a state of mind. And, we say this because it's not that we are perfect people, myself and Aaron, but rather because we want to express these ideas and these thoughts and really force feed them back into our own minds. So really living in a conscious state of mind, and, as opposed to reacting and just responding to whatever is thrown your way, responding to emails, responding to text messages. And at the end of the day, you're exhausted. We've all been there. We've all felt that type of pressure, being just, exhausted and wondering, okay, do we ever stop to think, what did I really accomplish today? Did I get what I wanted to get done, or did I just react? And it's difficult. It's not easy. A lot of things we discuss are not easy to implement, especially when you have work, you have other obligations, you have family, you might have children, you have so many other things going on in your life, and a lot of times you're left without having that time for yourself and being able to just take a step back in life from life and just focus. So during times like that, or should I say during times like these, it's so important to just really focus in on what you want to do, and a practical step to actually implementing that would be by writing down a list. And I know we've discussed this before, and the power that actually writing a list down can really have in your life. Something as simple as writing a list, checking off that list, can bring a lot of direction and a lot more control into your own life. So one way to do this would be the night before you start your day. That's really when your day starts, right? The night before. So tonight, it's Thursday, August 18th. And do you have a plan in place for Friday, August 19th? Or are you just going to take Friday, August 19th as it comes and just go through the motions and just respond to what's put in front of you? So that's really where you can differentiate your time and make your time actually yours. And a very, very quick way to grab hold of the day is by doing something physical in the morning. And this is not a fitness podcast per se, or what we discuss on here is not strictly fitness related, but when you have things that you're reaching for and going for, having high energy levels is one of the most important things to actually reaching those goals. And if we look at energy as a resource, just like we look at money as a resource, then we are all on the same playing field, right? Even with time. We're all given the same 24 hours in a day. And what we choose to do with those 24 hours dictates our future. So essentially, we're all really creating our lives as we go, whether we realize it or not. And the more that you don't realize it, the less that you realize that, and the more that you just live life on autopilot, leaves you open to being pushed around by life and not getting to where you want to go. And the reality is that we're all here to do something significant, something that'll bring an impact to our life. And that's the reality of why we're here. You're not here just to sit in an office and do accounting work, although that might be your passion. There is a reason why you're here. And if you look at the statistics of how unbelievably uncommon it is, are the statistics and the probability of actually being born, it'll blow your mind. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but that's the world we live in today, where you may not have an answer in front of you, and within a matter of seconds, you can have it right in front of you. So, for example, we'll do this live on the air. We're on Google right now. What is the probability of being born? And let's take a look at, what are the chances of you being born? So right here, we are looking at this. And to kind of put it in perspective, we can see that the probability of you being born is, gosh, I don't even know what this number is. I mean, it's a 10 with the 45,000 exponential. So, I mean, it is exponentially amazing that you are sitting here and listening to this right now, the probability of the right sperm meeting the right egg is 1 in 400 quadrillion. I didn't know such a number existed, actually. So, I mean, if you really look at it like that, I mean, it's amazing that we're sitting here right now. It is amazing. Think about it. There's such a high probability that you were not born and you were not brought into this earth. So, if we really look at it like that, you realize how much of a gift this really is, and to squander such an opportunity is really a shame, and especially on top of that, if you're listening right now from the United States and you were born in the United States, then that probability is even higher. It makes it even higher, right? Because you could have been born in another country with far less opportunity. So, we say all that just to say that the times we live in are amazing, and if you have something that is really calling your name, then you should definitely answer that. Definitely you should answer it. And that's what we're here for. We're here to just share the journey and share the path with you guys. And, hop in there.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt. Time now is 9:18. You are listening to the Chelladurai Inc. show. If you guys are just joining us, Jordan, we're just talking about the rarity, how rare it actually is to be born and have life. And I do want to take this call right here. We do have somebody that just called in. I think they want to just weigh in on a little bit. I think his name is John. He goes by John, and he's in North County. John, you are on the air. Thank you so much for calling in tonight, sir.
Yeah. Chelladurai Inc. show, what's going
on?
Welcome to the show. I don't know if you wanted to, really have an opinion at all on what Jordan was just talking about at all, John. If you wanted to, kind of say your piece on this issue.
Absolutely. I think a lot of the times when we think about, we take a lot of things for granted. A lot of people say that we take life for granted. And whatever Jordan was saying, when you look at statistics and you look at probability and you look at the fact that you were chosen for, like, I don't know what your religious creed might be, or whether you believe in science or whatever it is. For some reason, everybody was born for a specific purpose, to a certain destiny. And I think if people, just like Jordan was saying, not squandering your time and making use of opportunity. And I think with the fact that you're being born should unfold into interests, which should unfold into a purpose, which would also lead to a legacy and really having a ripple effect as far as what your ultimate goals are and what your desires are as people. And I know that in modern day society, we're looked at as somewhat to be very go through the motions and be very monotonous with these routines and these schedules and stuff. And we tend to forget that life itself is a gift. And a little side note story about that, I had a friend of mine that I went to school with, and him and I were just hanging out somewhere, and then he raised a beer and he said, "Hey man," he said, "toast to us, because we're the two sperm that made it." And I looked at him and I said, "What are you talking about?" I didn't even think about it in that kind of context. The way that he had stated that helped me to understand the illustration of exactly how life works. And when we are in our everyday hustle and bustle, and we don't think about the actual process of life and how life is a gift and how life itself is a valuable thing, it's really it was an eye opener for me when I heard him say that. And I don't know if you guys have ever had moments where you kind of just zone out and think about this kind of just that concept itself is enough to really light a fire under your butt, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I think Jordan and I both can appreciate that, and we are totally in agreement. That being said, John, what are you doing? What do you do what do you do for work? What are you doing here on this earth? How are you making a difference and an impact and really making your life worth it?
Man, I would say the biggest thing is honing your craft and honing whatever it is that you do. So, for example, I mean, I've been working for companies as a sales and marketing person, but I think the biggest thing is always taking ownership of what you do. So, for example, when I go to a place, I'm an employee of a company, I'm a salesperson, but the biggest thing that could train me for the actual outcome and goal that I have for myself is to find some kind of organization or a product or a company. But what I'm doing now is I'm marketing a service, and that service is home health care. And you can kind of look at the job as a day-to-day job where you're like, oh, gosh, I got to go and talk to these people and see these people day in and day out and get coffee. And I think the biggest thing is to take away the fact that this is actually it's honing and shaping and sharpening my skills. So when that time comes for me to have my own, I already have that skill set. You see what I'm saying? And it's also looking at the greater aspect of what I'm trying to do. So I want to make a positive impact in people's days, in a person's day. If I go to a senior home, I'm doing more than just going there to try to get business out of the building. I'm going there to maybe brighten up somebody's day, or I'm walking in there and chopping it up with some person, one of the residents who were there, and kind of looking at that and saying, look, this is how I would want to run my own company. You see what I'm saying? So what I can say is, ultimately, the way that I would look at what I do on a day-to-day basis as an employee is to really take ownership of what I'm doing in my day-to-day grind and developing my grind for the future. So as far as extracurricular stuff, I mean, I'm looking at the life insurance game and really understanding how, something like life insurance tends to take, in a way, it has kind of a negative connotation from a sales standpoint. But I think that if you look at the way that the infrastructure is set up, meaning having people gravitate towards you who might be valuing life, they might be valuing their legacy and their future and their kids and setting up retirement, college funds, things like that. So I guess you can say I'm an agent of the sales and marketing world, and looking at these tools and how they can make a deeper impact as opposed to just having a one-way benefit. How do I benefit my client? How do my actions and how does my service benefit my clients and their families, and also their kids and their future generations, which will proceed after them.
Sure, it makes a lot of sense. And you talk about your role as an employee with your healthcare company, but it sounds like, John, to me, it sounds like you're acting and conducting yourself in a way where this is actually your own business. You're sitting yourself and mentally preparing yourself and saying, okay, listen, I'm going to go to work for this company, and I'm going to pretend that this company's mine, because how I'm acting and conducting myself right now working for this company is how I eventually want to conduct myself as a business owner. Because I think we've chatted before, and I think you want company ownership, and I think it's great. I mean, not to sound cliche or very Goldilocks-ish, but you're doing unto others as you would want them onto you. I mean, you are working for this company, respecting this company, doing your due diligence, in large part hoping that this is how you're going to conduct yourself later on down the road when you actually have your own company. It was
right.
that might have been a little of an inference, but I think we definitely got your drift there. Jordan, I definitely agree with that. Jordan, would you?
Definitely, yeah. And
you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
No, I was gonna say, some Instagram has some really cool motivational stuff and something. See, I would say that no matter where you are on your grind, whether you started or you didn't start, or you're in the middle or you're in a transitional point, I think the biggest thing is to look at life as a big classroom, and it's always a learning experience. And the important thing is, it's not about going back to where you were. It's not about wishing that you're 10 years ahead and making progress. I think the biggest thing that you can embrace is process. And one of my friends had sent me something on Instagram that said something to the effect that, don't wait for somebody to fall in love with you. Don't wait for this to pop. Don't wait to be successful. Don't wait or wish for those things, but enjoy and love every minute of the process right now. That's the biggest important thing that you could take away from it. And that definitely had an impact on me, for sure.
Definitely, yeah, and to kind of build on what you're saying, or give everyone kind of a different analogy on that, would be something as, every male, I'm pretty sure, is one of their goals, if you're into fitness, is to achieve a six-pack, right? And it's a struggle. It's not the easiest thing to achieve. And the thing is that even though, let's say, you've been working out, you've been hitting the weight room, you've been doing all the steps that you should be doing, that you think will get you to the goal of a six-pack, but still you're not there. One of the biggest things you can do is really to just let it go and just appreciate, like you said, the process, right? The journey of where you're going, because success is fleeting. Everything is temporary. So even if you've attained that six-pack, the world will not immediately bend and fall at your feet. So I say that to say, that enjoying the process, enjoying the journey, and just doing everything, taking every action because you enjoy that action and you're growing through that action, is what's most important, right? As opposed to struggling and saying, oh, I'm not at $1 million a year yet. I'm not, I don't have X in my bank account. I don't have, Y, sitting in my home. I don't have this sitting in my driveway. If we just enjoy the process, then we can really reach the next level.
Absolutely.
And I just want to cut in right now. The time's 9:30. First 30 minutes of our segment has come to a close, but you can definitely check us out on ChellaDuraiInc.com, as we like to call our after-hour spot for the next 15 minutes, of course, from 9:30 p.m. to 9:45 Pacific Standard. Check that out. It's a little bonus after hours that Jordan and myself always like to do. But stick around. We are talking. You will be able to hear this on the site live, and of course, if you want to look at our site later on archive listens, please do. Blog Talk Radio listeners are now cut off, so to speak, but we don't like to cut anybody off. And we're just vibing over here, folks. We're talking about what are we talking about, Jordan? We're talking about life. We're really just talking about life, and really the importance of it, and how valued really each one of us are, men, women, and children alike. The 7 billion of us, they say our planet's overpopulated and will be overpopulated by 2050, whatever that really means. But, again, I don't mean to sound Mr. Rogers, but it's very important to appreciate your life that you have, because as Jordan said, I think his numbers are right here, you had 1 in 400 trillion, or 1 in 400 trillion is the chance that you would be born. You, your soul, again, not to get on a, religious topic, but I mean, what if you were born the previous week? What if you were born the next day? What if you were born an hour later, 30 minutes later? Would you be the same person? I don't know. I don't really have the answer to that, but good news is I don't need to, because you're here and you're the answer. And it's just really, really important to make do, be the absolute best, be all you can be. I hate to be like the Army, but be all you can be with this life that you got, because you were chosen by all of these different factors. It was you. It was you that came out of the womb, and it's your time to shine. It's your time to really make put your footprint, your fossilized footprint, so to speak, into the world. Plant your flag. Anything else, John? I'm sorry if you didn't have anything else. We could let you go, but if you had something, by all means, stay on and talk. But I didn't want to keep you at all. I do appreciate the call in this evening.
Oh no, I appreciate you guys having me. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Everybody
Absolutely.
Stay positive. Appreciate where you are, and know different, better things are to come. And where you are right now is a gift in itself.
Definitely.
Amen. John, thanks so much tonight. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
All right. You too, guys.
Thanks.
All right.
That's our good buddy John. Does call in from time to time. I don't know if I introduced him as a buddy, but good friend of Jordan and myself. We go back. But yeah, folks, we are taking calls for the next 12 minutes. Do give us a call in, 773-897-6349. You're listening to the Chelladurai Inc. show live, of course. We're talking about life. It's me, Aaron Trilling, a.k.a. artist named David Capewood. And not to switch it up much, but I'm going to switch it up because, that was a good segment. We have the David Capewood Project, which is, of course, my artist name, produced by my good buddy, partner, comrade over here, Jon Philip, goes by Pravin in the studio, goes by Jon Philip outside the studio. And we do have our friend that always jumps on every show, every so often, Kenneth Guillotine Pride, with Relative Reactions. He is co-producing this album, and it's going well. We've like a lot of things, we're concentrating on many things, and Jordan and I both are really trying to prioritize and level of importance, really. I know we kind of touched on it last week as far as concentrating on one thing at a time, and I think really that resonated with me when Jordan was talking about that, because, a year ago we were kind of firing on all pistons, which is great, but we were kind of all over the place. We have our hands in many cookie jars. We wear a lot of different hats. We're doing a lot of different things in our personal and professional lives. But the music, I don't want to say was put on hold. It just, we were servicing other areas in our life, so to speak. And music is a huge passion for myself and Jordan, and of course Kenneth as well, who's not joining us this evening. But I do want to let you guys know that the D Capewood Project will be coming out in a couple months, and it'll be fully ready to roll, mastered and all. I think it's going to have 11 or 12 tracks. It's just going to be me. I will have a couple features, but it is, quote unquote, my solo album. And we're really talking about a whole lot of different things in there. We're talking about, the things we talk about in the show, money, life, getting your bars up, getting your hustle, stay strong, stay focused. Don't ever lose that. It's fine to vacate. It's fine to have a vacation by all means, but work hard, play hard. That's what I'm all about. As Jordan and I both reiterated to you guys many a time, that we're here for you guys. We're here for you guys with our show. We're here for you guys with our music. We're here for you guys with our business. Chelladurai is, again, of Tamil origin, which is a language spoken in the nation of India, and it means humble leader. And we want to lead humbly. And I think we're on our way to really captivating everybody, and we really appreciate all the listening in and just your support and your following over the last 11 months. We're coming up on our 50th episode very shortly, as this is episode 48, and we really couldn't thank you guys enough. It's a two-way street. We give you value, you give us value, and again, our thanks and gratitude just transcends words. I'm going to let that be the end of episode 48. But you guys stay hungry, stay foolish, of course, the good foolish. And we'll see you guys back here on August 25th, Thursday, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Of course, I'm Aaron again, and my buddy Jordan. We're going to sign off right now. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. kiss your loved ones, make that money, get out there and be great. We'll see you next week. Take care.